Hello, this is David, Fairly Secret Music. This is the vinyl tag for 2022, and this was created by Rob Walker. So apparently Tales from the Crate used to do the vinyl tag, but I guess he hasn't been doing videos for the last 7 months or something like that. As you all know, I only buy CDs, so this is basically the vinyl tag, except for I am going to show CDs, but it's all music, so it doesn't really matter. So let's get to it. Thanks, Rob, for creating this list. If you're interested in a metal tag, I also have a metal tag that I have just done also, and that is also up. So number one question is the first album purchased in 2021. Or sorry, favorite album purchased in 2021, which I'm glad that is not the case, that it was the first one, because February 2015, that's too long for me to go without buying. Transatlantic, The Absolute Universe, Breath of Life, and Forevermore version. There is also a third version that I think I have upstairs. It is the 5.1 Blu-ray surround sound. This was my favorite album of the year. This made me go back and buy all the Neil Morris, Mike Portnoy, Flower Kings, just tons of prog rock. And I was basically listening to nothing but prog rock, be it old or new, from February until August. So was that 6 months? So half the year I was listening to nothing but prog rock. So Transatlantic, The Absolute Universe, all three versions are my favorite album of the year. Album by the first person I saw live. I saw Stryper at the Jesus People Church in, what year was this? 1985 was the very first concert I ever went to. I had third row tickets with my friend Sam, and he and I, by the time they started playing, everybody went up. So we actually sat on the backs of the first row seats for the whole entire show. Probably pretty rude, but we were only 13 anyway, so we weren't very tall. So, Stryper, first band I ever saw live. Album by a duo. This is a band called the Twin Tribes, and they play kind of... it's basically new wave goth synth pop type stuff. The guitarist sings, and then there's a bass player, and then they have programmed drums. And I actually saw them this year. It was the only show that I actually went to in 2021. And they were really awesome, and the bass player was really nice, very personable, was just really cool. I asked him, I said, do you have enough CDs where I don't have to buy them right now and I can wait until after the show? And he said, yeah, we should. But if it was Europe, he said people buy CDs like crazy in Europe. So just a little bit of information. Album still in a shrink. So technically not in the shrink, but this band, Orphaned Land, album Sahara. And this was from, I believe I purchased this in 2005. And there was a record store in St. Paul, Minnesota called Root Cellar Records, run by Earl Root, who has since passed away, and the store was closed before he passed away, but just a great guy. And he would put all the digipacks in plastic sleeves like this, and that's why I can tell this is old, because it's all kind of wrinkled and caught behind itself. But yeah, crazy band from Jerusalem, I believe they are. Kind of in the lines of Opeth or kind of Paradise Lost type stuff, you know, but more towards the Opeth stuff, especially later albums. Concept album. Cynic, The Ascension Codes. What it is a concept album of, I do not know. But I do know that it is a concept album, and I've listened to it like once. I didn't think it was the best. Maybe it's because their bass player passed away this last year from suicide, and it was just too new for that guitarist to have another bass player. So the keyboardist actually plays keyboards and bass with his left hand, kind of like the Doors. So I have to listen to this when I am ready to listen to it, but it is, again, a concept album. An album I have yet to play. I just got this 2 days ago. This is Over. Over means wolf in Norwegian, and the Norwegian Nattens Madrigal, which is Madrigal of the Night, which is an album that is basically songs about the wolf and man. I'm trying to go pretty fast. Do a fun thing. Just make me go twice as fast as the playback. Then you can just listen to everything pretty damn clear and only have to watch half the video. That's how I watch a bunch of stuff now when I want to watch stuff. Artists you've discovered in 2021. Actually, I discovered this band in 2022, This Winter Machine. Or no. I found out about these in 2021, about the last week in December. And then I just ordered it and got it just this last week. So, what was that? So I actually, one of the first things that I received in 2022. But This Winter Machine, Kites, they are very much along the lines of kind of like a Spock's Beard, Transatlantic, kind of Marillion-ish kind of band. So if you like that stuff, Big Train, kind of. They are actually distributed in the U.S. by Bandwagon USA, which distributes Big Train and another band called Life Signs that I'm going to show you. Live album. I picked this up. This is the 8 live albums, the catalog by Kraftwerk. It's Kraftwerk 3D, the catalog. And basically it is them playing all 8 essential Kraftwerk albums live. Just in case you are curious to what the box set looks like. It has kind of a minimalistic artwork, just shows every song for each, and then each album has its own color-coded sleeve, and each one is highlighted. So that's number 8, that's number 1, etc., etc. I could have done that as the box set, but album from a different continent. Speaking of Bandwagon USA and Life Signs, Altitudes. This is a UK band, very much again in that kind of Marillion-y, Spock's Beard, kind of Big Train thing. This has a guy named John Young on keyboards and vocals. This album is fantastic. I bought their whole collection based on the title track of this album. 15 minutes, just earworm, just lived rent-free in my head for a while. I listened to it like 2 or 3 times in about the space of an hour, and at the end of that hour I was ordering all of their stuff. And now they are available through Bandwagon USA, which is a lot cheaper and a lot faster. And the woman that runs Bandwagon USA is fantastic at communicating and getting stuff out really fast. Let's see. Album with a price sticker on the jacket still. $5.95 for the Beatles' Love in 5.1. I'm sure people paid tons for this when it first came out. I had the single disc version, not the Blu-ray or the surround sound version. There are a lot of things that I have with used stickers. It's a scuff, meaning it has slight scratches on it, or light scratches. And if I looked at it, the DVD was the only thing that I cared about, and you can hardly even see anything on that. And the CD, very barely. It plays perfectly. Punk or new wave album. This is a band called Drab Majesty. Very much sounds like Twin Tribes do, and another band called Choir Boy. But Drab Majesty have kind of like a different sound than either of those, but they all three sound like they should have come out of like 1982, 1984, in that whole new wave era. And they're very androgynous. Let me see if there's another picture of the band. I think there is. I think when they play live, they're with these white wigs and very white skin, very albino-ish kind of. Can you even say that anymore? I'm not sure. But yeah, new wave, fantastic. This is called Modern Mirror. Amazing. If you like current bands doing that retro new wave sound, that's it. Box set. I've never shown this because I was kind of disappointed in the packaging. Not only did they not put lyrics in it, but they put each of the discs in a little slide kind of sleeve where you have to slide it up, which can get scratched, light scratches. But the three Blu-rays that they put in it, they put with like a sleeve that you actually take out of a slot, and you can hold it, and then, you know, like the little miniature vinyl sleeves. So I don't know why they didn't package all 17 discs like that. They only did 3 out of the 17, which irritated me, but it is a fantastic box set. This is the Charisma Years. As I said, there are 17 discs. Pawn Hearts, God Bluff, Still Life, and H2 He, Who Am the Only One, all get new mixes along with the Blu-rays that have the albums in 5.1. And just, this is like a Vandergraaf Generator fan's wet dream. It is fantastic. The only qualms I have with it is the horrible way to store the CDs, and I'm not even gonna get into it. So, all right, box set. Album with a sports theme on it. Bob James, Touchdown. This is the only one that I could think of, and I know that Rob also showed it. Rob Walker also showed it. As soon as he showed it, I was like, oh, I got that. That's going to be mine. Sorry, Rob. Had to copy you. I have no idea anything else with a sports theme on it. Maybe if I watch some of these vinyl tags, I'll think of some other things. Jazz album. Not quite jazzy. Again, another sticker. Jean-Luc Ponty. Jean-Luc Ponty, Enigmatic Ocean. This album is so amazing. It has Steve Smith on drums. It has Ralph Armstrong on bass. Let me make sure I am actually saying the right name. I'm pretty sure it was Ralph Armstrong. Yep. He does fretless bass on Nostalgic Lady. That song is worth the main number one reason why I have this. I have 2 copies of this, not including the vinyl copy that I have, because I do have vinyl, but I just don't collect vinyl. And Daryl Strummer plays guitar on it also, along with none other than Alan Holdsworth, who is also on Nostalgic Lady. So Steve Smith, Alan Holdsworth, Ralph Armstrong, Jean-Luc Ponty. You don't need any more than that. Best of album. Normally I don't buy best of albums. I had this Pat Benatar Greatest Hits because I decided I wasn't going to buy each of her single albums, but I found the first 3 used, remastered, so I do now have at least those first 3. Those are the only 3 that have been remastered so far. So album with at least 8 people on the jacket. So I couldn't find one with them on the cover, but considering this is a digipack and it has 2 discs and a Blu-ray, there are 9 people on this cover, technically. Not on the actual cover, but it said album with at least 8 people on the jacket. So this is, if this were vinyl, there would be, you know, this would be considered the jacket. So this is Offering, if you're not familiar with them. They are an offshoot of the band Magma, the French Zool band Magma, and this has quite a lot of people crossing over, at least 4 or 5 people that are or were in Magma at the time. So soundtrack, a little indie movie called Bandwagon. It has, what's his name, Kevin Corrigan. He's the most well-known actor in the whole thing. Just a fantastic soundtrack for a movie that came out in 1997. Just awesome. And the songs are fun. It's about this guy who writes all these songs about this girl named Anne, and she doesn't even know he exists, really. But if you're wondering, It Couldn't Be Anne is a good indication. So just type in Bandwagon, It Couldn't Be Anne. Gives you a good idea of the type of band they are. Soundtrack. Show some VCLT. So I have 3 VCLTs that I got. I only have done VCLT a few times, and one guy pretty much turned me off on doing it. I don't even think he talked about what I sent him, and he complained about having to pay customs or duty fees, even though I wrote gift on it. So he pretty much screwed the whole thing up for me, and that's okay, because honestly, I just like buying my own stuff. I don't want to buy stuff for other people, really. There were a few people that I had no problems with doing it, and really nice guys. First friends, guy named Rob at Black Star Vinyl, and he sent me a bunch of CDs, but Cyclone Temple, Land of Greed, Home of the Depraved, thrash band from the late 80s, early 90s. Darcy at Darcy 6 Strings 9 Lives, he sent me this Dark Roots of the Earth. That was when I was getting back into Testament, so, which was awesome because I saw this used and then I couldn't find it again, and then he sent it to me, and of course then I found it used again after that. And the last person was Chris, Dude 1973. I really wish he still made videos, because he was the one I connected with the most besides Darcy, and just awesome guy. He actually sent this to me on my birthday. I had been looking for this forever, and actually Rob at Black Star Vinyl actually sent this to him, and he listened to it a couple times and knew that I wanted it so bad, because I asked him if he didn't want it, if he would sell it, and he actually sent it to my work. I'm not even sure how he figured out. I think he and I had been talking via Messenger and stuff, but Chris, again, the best connection I've made on any of this YouTube video stuff, and I really wish he kind of disappeared from Messenger and Facebook, so I'll have to figure out a way to message him again. All right, that was VCLT, but yeah, I don't do VCLT anymore. Album with no writing on the jacket. This is Don Caballero's What Burns Never Returns. If you want more modern day kind of math rock, King Crimson-y kind of shit that is just all over the place, with a drummer who they used to call the Octopus. This band is awesome. I saw them live 3 times. Just amazing. 7-inch single. I don't have any 7 inches. Well, I do, but I'm doing this all CDs, so This was a David Sylvian CD single for Godman, and it had Godman, Shadowland were the two songs. So I thought I had a couple other that I saw recently, but I may have to go back. Colored vinyl album. So I wasn't going to do vinyl. So I have Merciful Fate. I decided to kind of flip the question, a CD that is made to look like vinyl. And all of these Metal Blade reissues look like this, and they have the that vinyl look to them. So it's really cool. The whole CD is black. There's more shelves over there if you, yeah. So, not a colored vinyl, but to look like vinyl. And an album from 1982. As soon as I saw that this came out in 1982, I decided I had to show it, because this is the first King Crimson album I ever bought in, I think it was 1993. I didn't like it, and I got rid of it. You know, it's crazy how this blue makes everything turn orange, and then as soon as I put it back up, I'll turn orange. But my friend Dave makes fun of me for not liking Beat when I first got it, and I love this album now. But this was my introduction to King Crimson. I didn't like it except for Neil and Jack and Me. I think I sold the cassette, and then 2 years later, when working with Dave, I became a King Crimson obsessed guy for the 80s and the 90s stuff. Then I worked with my friend Brandon at a place called Down in the Valley. I worked with Dave at Cheapo. Worked at Down in the Valley, and he brought in Lark's Tongue through Red to listen to, and by the time we were done with into the second song of Lark's Tongue, I had ordered every other King Crimson that I did not have, which I had In the Court, the 80s albums, the 90s albums, and I purchased everything else that same night. So that is the vinyl tag of 2022. Thank you, Rob, for creating this. There is another one out there. I saw that after I saw this one. Totally different questions, I believe. But if you enjoy this video, subscribe. I do them quite often. Not as often as I used to, but you know, I go everywhere from new wave to prog to metal to classic rock, whatever. So if you're new to my channel, welcome, and you have a great 2022.